going to get started on this Reliabilt. Don't know which direction is correct here. I guess this one. Reliabilt, this is one of those nice Lowe's padlocks. Let me double check real quick. So yeah, you get the real nice sound there as it's being opened. And then I want to show the actual lock. Oh, let's see. Yep, there you go. So once opened, opens up right there, which allows you to get to this tiny little grub screw. Once that grub screw is out, then you have access to open the little protector here for the actual discs themselves. And you can see it's got, was that 1, 2, just 4. For some reason I thought I had 5, but 4 pieces for that grub screw to go into to ensure that you can't turn this. And then for each one of these, I have accidentally dumped these guys before, and when you dump them, they just, it's a pain to put it back together because you don't know what you're looking for. You'll see a little nub inside of there. So the goal is to turn, and so when you do a 100% turn on this guy, get him as turned as far as possible, then all of a sudden that little opening is there for the sidebar. And that sidebar, that's you need to turn everything to open for the sidebar so it can slide inside of those discs and allow the core to turn. Once the core turns, what it's turning at the very back end is the actuator that allows, it's basically a face like that with a ball bearing here and a ball bearing here. Once it's turned, it looks like that. Ball bearings are able to go in, which means that shackle can pull up. It's a very, very nice, satisfying shackle sound whenever this opens. So I'm going to hopefully be able to get it open and get it to sound fun for you. It has a static disc all the way at the back. So what you do is start turning, apply pressure, pull up, and there we go. So you have, I think it's about 2 millimeters. I think each disc is about 1 millimeter. I wrote it down somewhere. Actually took out a micrometer and measured it. But yeah, because the goal with this is that if you're having a hard time, what you can do is you can take a metal straw, you could cut down a decent sized pen, and you can use that as your method to replace some of the discs with something that will not interfere with the sidebar and reduce the number of discs to make it easier to pick. So the biggest problem I had when I first started picking disc detainers was that they are, the one that I picked was not a 0 turn on disc 1, and so in order for me to actually use it and understand how to do anything with it, I had to watch like 8 YouTube videos on it, and I hadn't done that. Somebody got one that was a 0 turn on disc 1. I watched that video, and then I'm sitting there trying for a month to open it, and it just never happened. So what I do is I, instead of using the dots or anything on this, I overturn. I think I'm good. Got a little click out of him. And there's 1, 0. And it feels like we got it. Yep, we got it. All right, so we are open. So, one of the things that I've noticed with disc detainers also is that somebody said that you can open a disc detainer with only picking X percentage of its discs, turning X percentage of its discs. Somebody said the same thing about like Medico, where you only have to turn a certain percentage of the actual pins. And while I've not found that true with Medico, I have absolutely found it true with disc detainer locks that 9 times out of 10, the way that you tension it, like you can make it open a little bit earlier. So I am going to pop this in, and we can stick this guy in. I think we should be able to, yeah, we can rotate back. There we go. And so we can get this guy out. Trying to make sure that I can kind of show what's going on here. So I don't want to take this all the way down to nothing. The ball bearings are very annoying to get back in. So disc spacer, disc spacer, over and over and over again. Yeah, be careful when you're tweezing these out. When I get down a little bit further, what tends to happen is I get a disc and a spacer every single grip. So like I'll go to grab one of the spacers and I'll grab a disc with it. Sometimes it's for the best, like that. I try to leave them facing the correct direction. This one was pretty easy to deal with though, because the top pieces are rounded and they've cut them correctly. If you end up watching videos about it, you'll see that, you know, this is like we'll call this like a 3-cut, and when you flip it over, it becomes a 4-cut. That's not quite how that works with this one in particular. I'm trying to remember, let's see if I can find it. Let's see if it's over here. No, it's not. Going to do a quick lookup so I can explain what lock this is. It is a Unity. So the manufacturer of Reliabilt was Unity. So this is identical to a Unity. If you're picking this as a green belt. All right, grab that. I've got to push around the ball bearings inside of there also. So we got some loose ball bearings going on in there. I hate that. Let's see. Okay, so that side, nope, not both sides. Misbehaving. All right, so this piece right here, that bottom disc, doesn't interact with anything. I mean, it's still cut so that it can, but I believe that it's low enough where it actually doesn't interact with the bar. I think it's right at an edge where it doesn't any longer. And then let me go ahead and drop that. Okay, so he's back down in there. All right, so what I did was I marked I doubt that it's actually even visible. Let's see. Might be visible on this side. Yeah, you can see that little cut right there. Let's see. Right in here, there is a single dash that I cut, and the same on the other side. This is number 1. And so I did on the fronts of each of these Roman numerals, so 2 slots, and then a really, really difficult attempt to put the number 2 inside of there. And then okay. So we can put this guy on. We're going to take him to 2.6. Sure, why not? Now that we know what we're dealing with as far as the spacers and the standard. So, all right. So they are about 1 millimeter apiece. So this is reading 1.73, 1.973. There we go. They're still being held. So yeah, about 1.9. So I mean, you know, you bring it to 2 millimeters. Let's see. There you go, 1/10 of a millimeter. So they'll move, which is about what you want. If we take it to 3 millimeters, close enough, 2.999. We'll be able to fit in another disc, no issue, and everything spins. So, doing the count here. See, this is might grow a little bit more, which is fine. I mean, we're still talking about within the range of using sandpaper, but you can. I wouldn't pull one. I would go ahead and leave because you're going to want that for tension, so you can tension off of it when you know that it's a 0 cut. And you're not going to want to get rid of the guy all the way in the back, because all the way in the back just is not complicated. But you could probably remove, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 discs. So you can probably remove 2 through 5. And then you're just picking 6 and 7. And you have access to the key, so you can see that and go, okay, this isn't a problem. All of the spacers are the exact same size on this lock, so you don't have to worry about that. Like I said, I have marked the discs themselves so that they are 1 through 7. I believe the 8th one, I'm probably going to include a video for this if I sell this lock, so that somebody can learn how to pick a disc detainer lock. Like I said, it was tough learning how to pick a disc detainer because the information wasn't great, and then there's weird variances. So one of my favorite people to watch is the real DMAC. And so DMAC is like showing how to progressive pin disc detainer with an anchor loss, and my anchor loss doesn't gut. It's for some reason one of the few models of anchor loss that you cannot gut. And he was like, wait, what? they make those because he's got quite a few, and I think all of his gut. But finding something like this, a green belt lock, so something that's you don't have any surprises. Not a single one of these discs had a false gate. That this is a very good option if you're trying to learn disc detainers, and then the fact that you can do get back in there. The fact that you can do the gutting on it is incredibly important. So I am going to look into maybe dremeling the numbers a little bit differently, or finding a different way to get them in there. I might even see whether or not I can go ahead and scan, take a picture, and then, edit it. But, yeah, so, there we go. And we are open. Yeah. So, gut and rebuild. Looks like we're at 15 minutes, so yeah, we got this thing completely picked, taken apart, and put back together within 15 minutes, so not bad. And then when it comes to what I would use personally, if I were going to progressive pin one of these, I believe that I would probably buy a metal straw. I will see whether or not I can get good measurements. I have an 8mm metal straw coming from Amazon sometime this week, but I'm going to see what can be used to turn this into a progressive pinned lock. And then, like I said, if you're going to take out X number of discs and spacers, then I'm going to go ahead and do the math on, you're going to leave the spacer on top of your gapper, what you're going to put in there in place of the turning discs. And so I would go remove 2. I think removing 2, you're going to end up removing 3 discs if you do that. So 2 actual discs and a spacer. Moving 4 out of it, I think 2 discs is enough, in my opinion, to learn how to do this. So this had 7 functional discs. Removing 4 leaves you with number 1, number 6, and number 7. And then putting back in 2. The other option is if it comes with enough space on the straw, I just might make it so that you can remove 2, 3, or 4 discs, and then give some written instructions. So I'm going to probably see whether or not I can do that and send some of these on their way so that people can learn how to pick disc detainers, because this one is also good to do with the Sparrows pick as well as the RWB. So it's an excellent learning lock. Little frustrated with myself not finding out about it until basically they're almost sold out of Lowe's. So, all right, thank you.